Today's learning target is I can solve proportions. A proportion here is any equations which says that two ratios or rates are equivalent or are the same. Okay, so if we had this ratio 1 to 2, that's going to be the same as 5 to 10. It's very similar to equivalent fractions. Okay, or if we had something that was $4 for 2 of something, that would be the same as $2 for 1 of them. Or if something traveled 8 feet every 10 seconds, that would be the same as traveling 4 feet in 5 seconds. Those are all proportional or proportions. If you were to read 2 pages in 1 minute and 5 pages in 2 minutes, those are not proportional. And we're going to see how you can figure that out here in just a second. There's a method that we can use to find out if numbers are proportional. I'm going to show you how to do that in this problem. So here it says a carousel makes 4 complete turns after 64 seconds and 5 complete turns after 76 seconds. Based on this information, is the number of turns made by the carousel proportional to the time in seconds? So the first thing I want to do is write down that information that I'm going to need from this problem. So let's see, 4 complete turns in 64 seconds. Okay, it was the one time, and then it was 5 complete turns in 76 seconds. Now I want to find out if they are proportional. Now to find out if these are proportional or equal, what I can do is I can find the cross products. Okay, it's sometimes also called cross multiplying to do that. Okay, so when I find the cross products, I'm going to say, okay, if I take 4 times 76, so they're cross diagonal from each other, and if I take 5 times 64, if those two products are equal, so 64 times 5, if that's equal to 76 times 4, then these two are equal. So down here you can see I did the two problems. I did 4 times 76 right here, that equals 304, and I did 64 times 5, and that equals 320. Now, since these two numbers are not equal, that means that these right here are not proportional. So for your answer you might write something like this: no, because you're saying are they proportional? No. And the explain, the products aren't equal. If I'm asked to find if this statement would be proportional, 5 pounds of dry ice melts in 30 hours and 3 pounds melts in 18 hours. Okay, so the first thing I do is write it down, and now I'm going to find my cross products here. Okay, so mental math, I know 30 times 3 is 90. Okay, so 30 times 3. And then 18 times 5. Here you can see I've done it over here. That also equals 90. So, yes, these are proportional because the cross products equal the same thing. They both equal 90. In this lesson, I'm going to be asked to solve proportions. So to do that, what we do is we're going to find our cross products here for both of these. Now, 5 times c equals 5c. Okay, now I want that to be the same as 21 times 7, the cross product here. Okay, and I know that equals 147. Now I have to find out what c equals in order to make this side equal 147, because I want them to be equal, and this side's 147. So I know that for doing this I need to try to get c by itself. So I can do that by dividing this side by 5. There's my dividing side, and so if I do that to one side, I have to do it to the other. Okay, so now that crosses out. I get c equals 147 divided by 5. So over here I did that problem, and when I divided 147 by 5, I got 29.4. So c equals 29.4. In this problem here, okay, I want to find out what n equals. I'm going to take my cross products again. So 2.6 times n is going to be on the one side. And that's going to be equal to 13 times 8. And you can see over on the side that that equals 104. So now I need to divide each. I got to get n by itself, so I'm going to divide each side by 2 6/10. So that crosses out those. So I'm left with n is going to equal 104 divided by 2.6. Now I set the problem up over here, but remember, if there's a decimal in the number I'm dividing, dividing by, if there's a decimal in here, it's no problem. It's not going to cause us a problem. But if there's a decimal here, I don't want to have to count by 2.6 every time in this problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to times this 2.6 by 10. Because remember, when I times by 10, all I do is I move the decimal one place. Okay, so I'm going to times it by 10, so that's going to move my decimal from here to here. Now I'm dealing with 26. Okay, now if I times the one side by 10, I have to times this side by 10. And remember, when I times by 10, okay, really the decimal is right here. We just don't show it. So I'd have to move the decimal one place over. So my decimal would be from here to over to here. Okay, now I have to add a 0 there, because when I times by 10, any number by 10, I just add a 0 to it. That's how I can do it mentally. So now my new problem is 1040 divided by 26. And if I solve that one out, I would end up getting 40 perfectly with no remainder. So n is going to equal 40. If you don't understand how I moved this decimal, make sure that you ask me right now, and I can explain that.